Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make these super cute, super loopy bows using the Brilliant Bow Maker snap clip templates. Now on this I've got the measurements for the 1 inch version, which is done on the 7/8 template, and I've also got the measurements for the 1.5 inch ribbon on the 1.5 inch template. And I've also done a tutorial on my TikTok channel at the moment on how to do this scrunchy centre, well, super scrunchy centre. And there we go. So this is the bows. And we'll just move everything out of the way. And I've been playing around with the sizes as well, because I did it with longer loops at the front and not very much difference, so like only a couple of centimetres difference. And I ended up adapting it to 6 between the longer layer and the shorter layer to give it more like uniform, more tucked in, and make it look tidier, if that makes sense. But you can play around with your sizing and see what works best for yourself. But like I said, if you've got a Brilliant Bow Maker snap clip template and you normally just literally make boutique bows with it, whether or not you do the classic double-tailed, single-tailed or whatever, this is a new thing for you to do. That is much simpler than it actually looks. And we've got 2 pieces of your pattern ribbon. This is 24 centimetres shorter, the longer is 30, and the base bow, whichever your colour is 60. So all of there. And we're going to take all of these and we're going to heat seal the ends. Must remember that. Heat seal the ends, heat crease the centre. I'm trying to get better with my pronunciation because YouTube doesn't like my accent and my dyspraxia, dyslexia, dyscalculia accent on top of that, where I say certain words back to front or muddle some of my sentences in ways that don't make sense to normal human beings. And unfortunately, because I have all of those 3, I sometimes don't catch when they've made a mistake translating me, and then when I check my translations and captions later, they're complete nonsense. So apologies if you ever notice that. It's also why I put all the sizings in the description in case I've said anything backwards or told you the numbers upside down, because I also do that on occasion. So we've got everything folded, so all 3 heat sealed at the end, heat creased in the centre. And with your patterns, remember to have them both the same way. And it doesn't matter which way round you have them facing on this, because obviously the bow is going to be up whichever way round you spin it, as long as you make sure you put your clip on the right way, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to start with our shortest piece, and we're going to take our snap clip template, and we want to put that in A and D. And when we've got our centre line here, put that there. And then we'll build our template as normal. Now with mine, I will tell you, I took my template and I used my permanent marker, there we go, to extend the natural marks on the template all the way up, so that when I'm making things like this, which I've been playing around with for quite a while now, wanted to get it perfect before I showed all of you, I can do it easily, because it will help in a minute, you'll see. So you put this in as normal across your C to F, or the other way around, which way you would naturally start your bow. And what you do is, using your longer marks, is make sure it's centered, and then you take this round as normal, and your little clips, and you bring this centered here where you normally would have done your D underneath there. And what I do for a minute is I put that there, and then on this side we do the same thing again, bring it round, clip it in, and again move it so then that is lined up, and it should be centered like this. The more balanced you make sure that everything is when you're doing this, this helps you with these things. Reclip that back into there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring these over. Now again, you can play around with this. what I like to do is have about 1 centimetre overlap just over the edge of the template, and I try and make sure that it's even on both sides, but you also want these to overlap in the centre, so when we do the stitching it stitches through both layers. And again, just a little wiggle up there, that makes it 1 centimetre. And then instead of using your hands or a pin or multiple tools, you just tuck it into your clips. And then your next layer. Again, the key to this, to make sure your prints are the right way up, is you want to make sure, so if that's facing that way, you flip it over so that it's directly on top of each other. You'll be able to see a little bit of the pattern there, that your ghosts or whatever your print is the same way up. And then you put that in there, and again, make sure this one is still lined up in the centre. And then the last thing we're going to do, and this is purely to help everything moving around and stop it from moving out of the way, is right in the centre of here we are just going to do an anchor stitch, and this will stop any of your layers of ribbon moving around before you put your stitches in and when you're putting your stitches in, and nothing will move, nothing will slip, and you won't have a messy, unbalanced bow, because that's the whole point of using tools. If you're sloppy or like have a natural inclination to like shift off to the left or the right, which I do, dyspraxia for the win, no sense of depth perception, then these kind of tools help you with that. It's the whole point of their benefits, to give you equal results every time you use them. So take this up, pinch it to its peak, and we're going to heat crease in the blue clear bit of the flame so we have a nice straight line. And we're going to bring this one up, and again we're going to heat crease and have a nice clear line, because this is where we get the structure of the boutique. We're just going to move these out the way a little bit, and we're going to bring these over our template the exact same way that we normally do. Hook them into your snaps so they sit like this. Make sure they're all in the clips. Bring it over, wiggle wiggle, wiggle wiggle into the clips. Give it a little adjustment, and if you get anything like this happen, just use your finger and flip that back up into place, and this is what it will currently look like with your 2 bits of ribbon hanging out here at the moment. Now all you need to do is move this a little bit, because that's a little bit off. You want to wiggle that just a bit, pull that at the front so that these are lined up on the centre as well. And then we can finally bring this one over and this one over, and this is what the back looks like, and this is what your front will look like, and this is where the bow's starting to look. You can see it all tucked in here like that, like that. Just ping those up over there, and then we're going to take our needle and thread again, and from underneath we're going to go up through the corner, so up through there for your first mark, and then we're going to go in at the beginning of where the print ribbon is, and then where our anchor stitch is, we're going to do a little bit below that, and then we're going to come from above, just a little bit above that, and then we're going to go back through, making sure that we're catching all of those print layers again, print ribbon, and then we're going to do our last stitch through there. Okay, so all of our stitches are in now. So the next trick is from here, clip. This is where we're snapping it off the snap template. You hear the little snap noises? There we go. And this is what the front will look like. And this is what the back looks like. Like I said, you have got a bit of an overlap. You could cut this down a little bit, but it just makes stitching easier and means it won't move around. And you can see you've got like the slightly bigger loop underneath, the slightly smaller on the top, which is exactly what you want. And then we take it between our fingers like this. And we cinch the bow together. And round we go. At least 2 or 3 times. 1, 2. And then stitch off in the back however you personally like. Now you can add spikes to these, but I tell you now, I am terrible at getting spiked tails lined up. I am also terrible at heat sealing spikes, unless I use my wood burning tool and I have to be in the mood to use it. And I am also terrible at making that fan shape and making it sit flat on how it should do as well. So if you're not a big fan of tails and fans, spike tails like me, do a base bow. It gives the same look. You can have the same sort of design, like details. You can mix up all the different styles of base bow that you can possibly imagine, and it can make the bow just as interesting as having, you have to excuse me, I can see where I went slightly off centered when I was putting my stitch in there, so I just adjusted that a little bit. But there you go, this is a look that you will have. And then I decided this one needed a zigzag pinwheel instead of a standard pinwheel. So this is 63 centimeters of ribbon on a 4.5 inch template, and as you can see, you can probably get the gist of it there, but I do a 3 centimeter overhang this side to start and clip that in place, and then over here using the edge of the template as a guide, because this is all on top of the template instead of round the template, because we forget again, we can use templates more than what they're 100% naturally designed for. Bow making tools are meant to benefit the maker. You can use them any way that makes them more accessible and more usable to you. And then what I do is, this is 1.5 inch ribbon again, so I try and do it so that it's halfway up. So 1.5 inch ribbon is 4 centimeters wide, so I put it at the 2 centimeter mark, and again use that edge as a guide there, and then again use that to where your 2 centimeter is. You can see I already got marks in, so I know where I'm folding. Again there, and I'm just going to move my clips back on, and this is the look you will get. This is what it looks like underneath, but it's not really important at this moment in time. And then we're going to take our needle and thread again, make sure I've actually tied it off. There we go. And then from above we're going to do about 8 stitches. You can do 6, but just make them even. Make sure they're even, consistent, and you sort of balance it out. You don't want to do 5 stitches, or basically work in even numbers, and it will normally work out right. And again, as you can see, I have naturally, again, used this to give me a better guide when I am trying to get things centered so that I don't drift from one side to the other, because even on templates, I still do that. So this gives me something to visually look at when I'm putting these in as an extra bonus, rather than me naturally starting to fall off kilter. See, still do it. And then we can take all of our clips off. You don't have to use as many as mine. Mine's just because I tend to slip and move things around if I don't. And then in your hand, just cinch this into a nice little centre. Round and round we go. Stitch off in the back. And again, you can do slightly less overlap on the edges and use a little bit less ribbon. I just like to have a little bit extra in case I sort of overcut or like mess up my heat seal and need just a little bit of playroom. And then I go up from the back. You can glue your layers as well. I just like to sew mine. Well, thread them through. So I'm just going to go up straight through the middle of this, and this is what the zigzag pinwheel looks like. You get that nice like fanny like look, like fan shape, if that makes sense. And then we're going to go up through the centre of our super loopy, and we're going to bring that all the way down, and we're just going to wrap it a couple of times nice and tight to the base bow. And again, I sort of just give it a little stitch off in the back. And this is the sort of towards the end of our results now. Let's move these out of the way for you. And then I've got my 50mm clip. And I don't ribbon line my clips. It's too many steps, extra steps for me. They sit just as nicely without. If you want to line yours and have a slightly more professional look, you can do, but it's not 100% necessary. It's all about personal choices and sort of how you build your brand or how you make your hobby bows. Whatever's best for yourselves. But for me, my little brain can't handle that extra, like, to me it's like an extra 10 steps. Whereas adding the clips only 2. So yeah, that's why I don't do it. And I'd have to sit here and be like lining 10 or 20 like at 50mm and like 45mm and 60mm clips in black, and then so many in pink and vice versa. And yeah, it'd eat up like 2D evenings, if not more, on a regular basis of just me sat there lining clips, and I ain't got the patience for stuff like that, because I'd literally want them as a reach for them, and to have them as a reach for them, you either have to pay somebody to do it for you, which adds up, or you do it yourself and it eats time. So we've wrapped that round, and then if you want to, I have a new scrunch, as I told you, this super cute scrunchy one, and I've got this on the 1 inch version as well. Or you can do just a standard little, more common scrunch middle, and we just want 6.5 centimeters of 1 inch ribbon. And and take it on your thumb, make a little S-like shape, or Z, whatever way round you're looking at. And then the blue clear bit of the lighter, pinch it together, pinch it together. Same the other side, a little SZ shape. Using the blue clear bit of the flame, otherwise if you use the orange it flames like that. And then, oh, didn't quite see on that side, look. I've got my windows open today and one of my neighbours is being a proper Nottingham road man in the centre of my road. It's great fun in the evenings in summertime. Bring that all the way around. There we go. Okay. Ever do this? We need slightly longer. We needed 7 there. That's better. I told you my measurements are off sometimes. My glue hadn't had time to set as well. They normally hold longer, but it's very warm in the UK right now, and that's not helping matters. Considering it's the like 4th of September as well, and should be in the middle of our autumn, like borderline winter season, not a second heat wave. So we put that round the centre, and then we bring it over, and that is long enough to go all the way around. And then we glue the other flat side. And there we go. And then the last thing to do is, for me, is to cut some curves on the tails. And I swear to God, I literally just had my white lighter in my hand and it's already gone. This is why I have 10 in my pot next to my hand. God knows where I put that. And there you go. A super cute, super loopy bow made on the Brilliant Bow Maker snap clip templates. So if you want some new bows to make on these, and you would normally only make those boutique bows, show them what you've made, show them what you can do. There's so many more things that you can do other than just traditional uses for the template that you see from people. So play around. If you've got some ideas, what's the worst you can do? Get some little scrap ribbons and test it and see if it works out, because that's all I did and it worked perfectly. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.